Preparing our children for the future is our nation's utmost responsibility. At the helm of this mission are local school boards, the community's voice in public education. In New Jersey, local school boards have a strong voice, the New Jersey School Boards Association. NJSBA advances public education by advocating for school boards in the State House, in Congress, in the courts, and in the court of public opinion. Local school boards determine how they exercise their voice through the Delegate Assembly. The Delegate Assembly is NJSBA's major policy-making body. It's a twice-yearly gathering of school board members who decide what their association will fight for or against in Trenton and in Washington.
So we as a local school district have a voice in the policy making and the shaping of the direction of the association. Again, the New Jersey School Boards Association is a representative association of local school board members. And just as we as citizens elect representatives to represent us in our state legislature, the same thing is true for the Delegate Assembly. It is ensuring that our community and our school district and the residents of our school district have a voice in shaping the policy for the state association governing school boards.
There are so many pressing issues before the state in terms of education. Rising healthcare costs, school funding, construction, property taxes. All these things require individual school districts to express their concerns and to try to get legislation that would benefit their individual schools.
Several things happen once you become involved in going to the Delegate Assembly. One is you get to network with a lot of other board members from around the state. You get to meet other board members, have those important discussions with people, find out things that you didn't know. I think an informed board member is always a more efficient board member.
I enjoy going because I get to meet board members, a diverse cross-section of board members from different sized districts, urban, suburban, vocational, rural, all kinds, big districts, small districts, and you learn so much as you do at workshop and everywhere else when you go with a group of board members, and it gives you the opportunity to grow as a board member.
It's no wonder that the Delegate Assembly, or the DA for short, is crucial to shaping advocacy on behalf of our schools. But in order for the process to be effective, school board members must participate in the DA and understand the procedural requirements involved. Each year, usually at its reorganization meeting, a school board selects a member to serve as delegate to the association. Each delegate has one vote and represents only one school board. How does the DA set policy? The first step takes place at the local board level and requires the board to publicly adopt a formal resolution and file it with the NJSBA at least 65 days before the DA. School boards submit resolutions that call on NJSBA to adopt a policy in the form of a broad belief statement on a specific issue. After a floor debate, the delegates vote to determine which resolutions to adopt. During debate, delegates have the opportunity to propose amendments or revisions to filed resolutions. These policies enable NJSBA to support legislation and initiatives for the well-being of children.
The Delegate Assembly offers the opportunity for every local board to participate in setting the policies and bylaws that guide the association. And to me, it's a real privilege to participate in that process in a state that consistently ranks very highly in educational outcomes for our students.
Resolutions and bylaws amendments may also be submitted by the Board of Directors, County School Boards Associations, the Executive Committee, or NJSBA committees. Resolutions are typically submitted by local boards after they have been formally adopted at a public hearing. They usually stem from a local concern that came to the board's attention. Some resolutions are submitted in response to new or proposed legislation or a judicial decision. Sometimes they are prompted by a lack of clarity in existing statutes or regulations. The key factor for successful resolution is that the underlying issue should have the ability to impact education on a statewide basis, rather than just applying to a specific school district. Once filed with NJSBA, resolutions are reviewed by association staff who will research statutes, regulations, decisional law, and past association policies as background information for the NJSBA Resolutions Subcommittee.
So we had an instance, and I forget what district it was in, where a municipality chose to move the date of the Board of Education and did not inform the school district, did not inform the local school district. And as you can imagine, that caused a lot of confusion and a lot of problems. So a resolution was put forth by that district to make it mandatory for a municipality to inform the local school district that it was going to be moving the election. And that passed, that was presented at the DA, it was passed at the DA, and it was lobbied by NJSBA, and it went on to become law.
At the DA, the delegates debate the recommendation and may propose amendments from the floor. These discussions often make for a lively debate. Once deliberations end, delegates vote on the proposal, and if adopted, the resolution becomes association policy. Such policies guide NJSBA staff in their daily duties, including speaking to legislators on new or revised legislation, communicating with other state or federal entities on various educational issues, or arguing before state and federal courts. Sometimes school boards will present emergency resolutions after the deadline, but they must meet specific criteria before they can be placed on the DA's agenda. The resolution subcommittee's research and recommendations are typically in the DA handbook, which is made available online and upon request. The DA handbook is posted well in advance of the meeting date, so school board representatives can have a good understanding of the issues before the Delegate Assembly. Delegates are encouraged to discuss the resolutions with their local school boards prior to the DA. Delegate assemblies are typically held in May and in late November or early December. Delegates can register on-site if their school business administrator has not pre-registered them already. Board members should also bring their ID. If neither the delegate nor the alternate can attend the meeting, another member of the board can be certified as an acting delegate. To receive voting privileges, an acting delegate can sign a certification form upon arrival at the DA, or they can bring a letter on school district letterhead and signed by the board secretary, authorizing them to serve as the acting delegate. At the typical delegate assembly, NJSBA's president and executive director will present reports and updates. Then the delegates discuss the resolutions. Delegates should also note that the Delegate Assembly Handbook has rules that describe the conduct and procedures during the DA. All agenda items must be seconded. Discussion is timed, and when speaking, board members must identify themselves by name and board and whether they're speaking for or against the motion on the floor. The full Delegate Assembly has the final say. It can accept, reject, or modify either the recommendation from the resolution subcommittee or from the local school board.
I'm on a regional board of education, and we have 2 sending districts. And the 2 sending districts came up with a proposal to take to DA to expand what a sending district can vote on. They presented it at the DA. DA passed it. So then, of course, it went to governmental relations. The 3 of us got to meet with, at the time, Assemblyman Berzacelli, who was the representative from our district, and got him on board to support it in the assembly. I was asked at one point to go up and testify in front of the Senate Education Committee, which was a real big deal in and of itself. Not everybody gets to do that. So it was a really neat experience. The other two representatives and myself were invited to go up with the team from NJSBA to the State House when the Assembly voted on the bill. In July of 2017, Governor Christie, that was one of the things, there was a whole bunch of bills that he signed off on, and that was one of them.
Over the years, the DA has dealt with matters involving school funding, labor negotiations, standards and assessment, transportation, random drug testing for students, teacher tenure, and student safety. Many of these proposals, as with the board member voting rights, were ultimately enacted into law.
It is a great honor to serve at the Delegate Assembly, to have been selected by my board president to serve our community and to represent our school district along with the other school districts statewide. But collectively, as a board or as a body, we get to effectuate change and we get to impact the policies that have an effect on all of our school districts.
NJSBA's Delegate Assembly. It's how school boards bring about change on a statewide level.